Hey, my friends. Um, Today I did a remote viewing and a reading of ancient Pompeii, the days or the culture leading up to Mount Vesuvius's eruption and what happened with that. But before I get into that, I do want to mention that I received a visit, like an energetic update visit from those who are operating the 3i Atlas craft. I have been seeing so many videos from creators, by the way, the last few days, and we're all having very similar experiences in communicating with the ship and its inhabitants, since they're energetic beings, there's no physical beings. And I had noticed before that the beings that I spoke to and the beings that somebody else spoke to, we were describing them different. And I thought maybe it was because we see things energetically, how our eyes and our brains can process them. But other people are saying that there's multiple different races on there. So that makes sense too. But anywho, they visited me not too long ago today. I had this overwhelming sense of peace and wellness and just and they're like we're getting closer and we're very excited, and they see that a lot of us are waking up and it's exactly as they hoped it would go. They're still not positive about our governments, but they know it's coming along, and they just wanted to say, hey, continue to not worry, do what you're doing, it's all good. But they also wanted people in the next few days, basically the rest of this week, to please, and today is October 30th, by the way, 2025. They want people to please try to remain in a positive state the next few days while we're receiving all this energy from them, as they have been shooting around the sun and activating, coronal mass ejections and stuff like that. They're doing this to repower the ship, and it's kind of like a slingshot thing so that they can to help their thrusters or however the ship operates. But they're sending us all this awakening energy. So if we can remain in a positive, uplifting place with whatever we're doing the next few days, that'll help us receive that. Okay, now, Mount Vesuvius and Pompeii. When I went and viewed Pompeii, there was a guide who was, he was like a businessman at the time, and he basically just took me on a stroll through the city. It was very heavily populated, very busy, hustle bustle, restaurants, street vendors, people buying, selling, trading, like massage parlors, like brothel type places. And so it's just a big society, a big culture. It feels like the governance was kind of like anarchist, like an anarchist government. Like everybody's on the honor system, basically. That's what it felt like. So it wasn't like a conservative or a liberal thing. It's just like it's a big community. Everybody took care of each other, and people were thriving. They had they had slaves, but it wasn't like chattel slavery. Their slaves were, and not even like indentured servants. It's kind of like it was something people chose to do, and they worked their way up, and they were very well. They were highly honored. These people that we're calling that were enslaved, and they would actually be freed and rewarded for their service, and would then become highly respected people in the community themselves. That it seems unbelievable, but that's the information I got. Now, leading up to the days before Vesuvius erupted, there were a few grumblings, earthquakes giving warnings, some steam and smoke coming from the mountain, but it all in all, it was not so unusual to see and experience these things, so nobody was too worried about it. But as it got closer, I am seeing smoke, lots of steamer smoke, and as soon as there was smoke that was coming into the city, and it was affecting the people's vision and breath. I don't know if it was coming up out of steam vents in the city, or if it was just rolling down off the mountain. But that's when people started saying, oh, this is different. And so some people started packing up their most important and treasured items, jewelry, important documents. Some people trying to pack up their money, basically getting ready to evacuate. And some people had already evacuated, and then the when the when the eruption started, it was mostly just like ash and stuff, so it wasn't too devastating then. For Pompeii, I know there was another city, Herculaneum, that got it, and that when it first started. So some more people, like, that's when the panic started. People started evacuating really quickly, but there were still people there. People that either just didn't get out on time, or they still weren't taking it very seriously. They're like, oh, this isn't bad. And that's when the pyroclastic cloud happened. And I'm trying not to feel, but I'm standing in the middle of a street, and there's fire everywhere, and people running and panicking, and it complete destruction. But I'm stepping back so that I don't actually feel any pain or panic. But it was pretty devastating. Of course, it's devastating because look what happened. But to stand in that energy, no organization, they did not have an escape plan, and it was very avoidable. It was completely avoidable. But you can't change the history. So, but anyway, I've been wanting to do Vesuvius and Pompeii, so let me know. Okay, all right. Till next time. Stay weird. Love you.